Hi, everybody. It's Kirk, the federal employee attorney. And today, as an introduction, I wanted to go through my background to kind of tell y'all what I do and what the focus of my practice is, as well as my qualifications for doing what I do. Recently on TikTok, I was explaining to my audience that it was very important for you to know who you're getting your information from. And to do that, you ought to do your research to find these things out. So thought I would come on today as one of my first videos and kind of go through that background so you can kind of have an idea of who I am as a lawyer. But also, as I said on my TikTok, and I'll say again here to you, do your own research. Google the attorney that you are interested in and maybe retained to represent you or get advice and counseling from, or who you're basically listening to on social media to find out more about them. But for me personally, I began practicing employment law in 1997. I was working for a small firm in Knoxville, Tennessee that represented only employees, did not represent any employers. I actually had started working for the firm while I was in law school in 1995. And once I got through with law school, graduated, got my license, I began practicing with them there. And I practiced for about almost 4 years with them in Knoxville, Tennessee. And then I left and went to work for the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, also known as the EEOC. I was a trial attorney assigned to the Charlotte District Office of the EEOC. And in that position, I basically worked with investigators, working side by side with them as they moved their cases through, giving them advice and guidance, and also in litigating cases on behalf of the EEOC. And I handled cases for them in North Carolina and also worked on cases in South Carolina as well. And I did that up until I left the EEOC, opened up my own practice in 2005. And then when I opened up my practice, I focused on employees in general, this kind of general employee work. I didn't really focus on federal employees at that time. But that changed for me around 2010, I believe. Around 2010, I took on my first case for a federal employee. That was a VA employee at a local VA facility in Salisbury, North Carolina. And from there on out, my federal employee practice just began to increase and increase over the years. And over the past few years, I've really begun to limit my practice solely to federal employees. I still do some private employee work. I don't do any state or local government work, but I still do some private employee work. But really, my focus is on federal employees. Now, one of the things that you may want to do is to take a look, and you'll see it here on screen, see my bio on the website, which will give you kind of a thing to work from, a source to work from. But in addition to that, you probably would want to look at other things, not just for me, but for other attorneys besides what we put into our websites. Go out there and find out more information about the attorney that you're dealing with, that you're getting information from. And what I want to show you now is going to be my profile on Martindale. So Martindale, and you can see this over here on this side of the screen, and Martindale was originally called Martindale-Hubbell. It's the oldest attorney listing and review site in the nation. Now, as you can see from the Martindale site, I currently hold a rating of 4.9 out of 5. That's referred to as AV in Martindale speak. AV is the highest rating that anyone can receive. I also want you to take a look at the peer reviews. My peers, so other lawyers that do what I do, rate me at a 4.7 out of 5. So I'm very proud of that not only do clients in Martindale rate me highly, but also that my peers feel really good about me. That's why I get a lot of them referring their friends, family, and others directly to me. In addition to Martindale and the listing there, you can also look on Avvo. So I have a profile on Avvo, and as you can see, I am listed in Avvo as 9.9 out of 10. What does that mean in kind of the grand scheme of things? Nothing. It's simply a rating scale from Avvo, a rating scale from Martindale. And again, I think you need to do your research to decide who is the appropriate person. I would encourage you to Google my name because you're going to be able to find out a lot of other information about me, including cases that I have worked on. So when you are comparing lawyers, not just for services, but also who are you going to be getting information from, you can use a lot of tools that you find on the internet, and those can be extremely helpful for you moving forward. So I certainly hope that this has been something that's useful for you, can be useful for you in determining where you get your information and maybe who you're going to retain to represent you moving forward. This is really one of the first of the more in-depth videos I've done, so I'm very excited to do this and to get more in-depth into substantial or substantive topics moving forward. So thank y'all.